The American Civil War, fought between 1861 and 1865, remains one of the most significant events in American history. Its impact on American society was both profound and far-reaching, leaving lasting legacies that continue to affect the country to this day. There are several ways in which the Civil War had a tense impact on American society, including its effects on the economy, politics, race relations, and social structures. This video will explore each of these impacts in turn. Perhaps the most immediate impact of the Civil War on American society was its economic impact. The war was devastating to the South, which saw its infrastructure, labor force, and resources crippled by 4 years of warfare. The South's economy was largely based on agriculture, and with many Southern men off fighting in the war, there was a serious shortage of labor to tend the crops. This led to food shortages and skyrocketing prices, which in turn exacerbated the suffering of the civilian population. The North, on the other hand, saw its industry boom during the war as it supplied the Union Army with weapons, ammunition, and other supplies. This led to an influx of wealth and investment in the North, as well as a shift in the balance of power between the North and South. The political impact of the Civil War was also significant. The war was, at its core, a struggle over the role of the federal government in American society, with the South advocating for states' rights and the North pushing for a more centralized federal government. With the Union's victory, the federal government was able to assert its authority and establish itself as the supreme power in the land. This led to a series of constitutional amendments, including the 14th Amendment, which granted citizenship and equal protection under the law to all Americans regardless of race. These amendments laid the groundwork for the modern era of civil rights, and they remain among the most important legacies of the Civil War. Perhaps the most complex impact of the Civil War was its impact on race relations in America. The issue of slavery was the primary cause of the war, and its abolition marked a major turning point in American history. However, the end of slavery did not mean the end of racism, and the struggle for racial equality would continue for generations to come. The Southern states passed a series of laws known as Jim Crow laws, which enforced racial segregation and discrimination in many aspects of American life. These laws persisted for decades, limiting the opportunities and freedoms of African Americans and perpetuating racial inequality. The social impact of the Civil War was also significant, as it upended many of the traditional social structures of American society. The war was fought in large part by volunteer soldiers, many of whom saw combat for the first time. These soldiers came from diverse backgrounds and social classes, and the shared experience of war helped to break down many of the barriers that had previously separated them. Additionally, many women were also deeply involved in the war effort, serving as nurses, field medics, and even spies. This experience gave many women a taste of autonomy and independence that they had never known before, and it helped to fuel the women's suffrage movement in the years that followed. In conclusion, the American Civil War had a tense impact on American society that can still be felt today. Its economic, political, racial, and social effects helped to shape the country in ways that continue to influence our lives. Although it was a tumultuous and painful period in American history, it also represented a turning point in the nation's development, one that helped to establish it as a truly democratic society. The lessons of the Civil War continue to resonate today, reminding us of the critical importance of upholding the values of freedom, equality, and justice for all.